The film opens with a haunting narrative from Joel Dawson as he recounts the catastrophic events that led to the downfall of Earth. The looming threat of Agatha 16 hurtled towards the planet, sending shockwaves across the world. They launched rockets to destroy it with the hope of preventing impact. But little did they know it would unleash a horror of unimaginable proportions. The chemical compounds that rained down on Earth's creatures mutated them into monstrous beasts, grown to sizes beyond belief. Insects, crabs, and slugs were mutated into terrifying colossal monsters that ravaged the planet. With only a handful of survivors remaining, humanity was nearly wiped out within a year, leaving them to fend for themselves. Joel, the protagonist of this tale, lives in a bunker colony with the remaining survivors, trying to eke out a meager existence amidst the chaos. Despite being surrounded by people, he feels utterly alone, the only one without a partner. His nights are filled with the sounds of others engaging in intimacy, a stark reminder of his solitude. The survivors rely on him for sustenance, and Joel dutifully prepares the minestrone and occasionally performs handy work. However, he is plagued with a crippling fear that grips him when he faces the roaming monsters outside. Joel keeps a journal of his drawings, documenting the creatures he's seen and their weaknesses in surviving in this new, dangerous world. One fateful afternoon, Joel manages to contact his old high school girlfriend, Amy, over the radio. She is staying with another colony of survivors just 85 miles away at Jenner Beach. Suddenly, their connection abruptly ends when an ant monster breaches the settlement, tearing through the fragile defenses of the bunker. Despite everyone's orders, Joel's desire to prove his worth to the others is overwhelming, and he decides to venture out into the dangerous world armed with nothing but a crossbow. In a heart-wrenching turn of events, he finds a mate devoured by the monstrous ant. Fear grips him as an arrow strikes the ant's head, killing it. A flashback is shown of the day that the monster apocalypse began. As they gazed out at the town, Joel tried to capture the beauty of Amy in a drawing, but even that moment of peace was shattered by the sound of sirens blaring and the sight of rockets launched into the sky. As Joel and Amy knew it, the world came crashing down in a devastating event that would change their lives forever. Panic set in as they realized the world was in danger, and they rushed to find their loved ones. Determined to find Amy, Joel ventured out alone, despite the protests of the colony. He was ill-equipped and inexperienced, facing unimaginable dangers at every turn. But the thought of spending the end of the world alone was unbearable. His journey was perilous, from the frog monster nearly devoured him to the worm monsters that consumed him. But fate intervened in the form of a loyal companion, a stray dog named Boy, who proved Joel's saving grace. He follows the dog into a bus where he sees that the dog is called Boy. He keeps a red dress that belonged to his previous owner, and he gets defensive when Joel touches it. Joel stays on the bus with Boy for the night. As Joel and Boy pressed on, they met two survivors, Clyde and Minnow, who showed him the harsh realities of life in a world overrun by monsters. Clyde and Minnow teach Joel a few things about dealing with demons, such as how to identify some of them, and they even help him improve his aim with his crossbow. On their journey, they find a giant snail monster that they call boulder snails. Clyde has Joel remove his shirt so the creature may carry off his scent to draw the other monsters away from them. He and Minnow point out that some monsters are friendly, but you can mostly tell by looking at their eyes. They also hardly stop to rest for fear that the demons will steal food supplies before they can get to them. As Joel continued his quest to find Amy, Clyde and Minnow encouraged him not to settle for less, even in the face of the apocalypse. Their words echoed in Joel's mind as he braved the dangers of the apocalypse, knowing that he must not give up hope, even when all seemed lost. The stakes were high and the world was unforgiving, but Joel's determination and courage would see him through no matter what horrors lay ahead. As Joel, Clyde, and Minnow reached the furthest point of their journey, Joel made a gut-wrenching decision to split from his companion. Minnow, heartbroken, had grown fond of Joel, but he gave her a tube of lipstick as a keepsake to comfort her, knowing it would be the last time they would see each other. Clyde encouraged him before parting ways, hoping Joel would make it to Amy's colony alive. Joel and Boy continued their journey, but their fate turned dark as they encountered a giant centipede monster that almost devoured Boy. Haunted by the memory of his parents' death, Joel froze. But he summoned all his courage and fired his gun, killing the beast and saving Boy's life. As they sought shelter in an abandoned vehicle, they stumbled upon Mav-1s, a robot with limited battery power and radio skills that proved Joel's only hope of finding Amy's colony. With Mav-1's help, Joel managed to contact Amy, and he was overjoyed to hear that he was only 10 miles away from her. However, their conversation was cut short, and Joel was left alone with his thoughts and regrets. Joel and Boy continued their perilous journey the next day, but Boy's carelessness nearly killed a queen sand gobbler. Joel's quick thinking and a well-timed grenade toss saved their lives, but his frustration improved, and he yelled at Boy, causing him to run away. Joel was now alone, and to make matters worse, was bitten by numerous leeches, causing him to hallucinate and lose his senses. As he lay dying, he remembered Clyde's advice and found the fern that would save his life. He then sees Amy and a few of her fellow survivors approaching him. He kisses her before passing out. Upon awakening in Amy's bunker, Joel discovers that he had mistakenly kissed an older male survivor instead of Amy herself. Amy then introduces Joel to Cap, the leader of the yacht team who has arrived to transport the colony to a safer location. After viewing the preparations on the beach, Joel has a private conversation with Amy. Although she is pleased to see him and relieved that he survived, she informs him that she has moved on from their past relationship and even had a romantic involvement with another survivor who passed away a year prior. Joel accepts her decision, but is left feeling saddened. Cap gathered the shipwreck survivors around to discuss his plan to transport them to another location. However, Joel suggested adapting to the surface based on what he learned. Despite Joel's proposal, the others opted for the yacht plan. Later on, Joel contacted his colony to let them know he made it safely, and everyone was thrilled to hear his voice and find out he had killed a monster. But Joel soon discovered that Cap was not who he appeared to be. After recognizing the berries that he was given, which Boy had warned him against, Joel realized Cap's true intentions. He tried to warn Amy, but Cap's henchwoman, Dana, knocked him out. Joel woke up tied up next to Amy, and Cap revealed his plan to rob colonies of their resources using a giant crab monster that he controlled through electric manipulation. As Cap sent the crab after the survivors, Joel freed himself and joined forces with Boy to take down the villains. The crab grabbed Joel, but he saw kindness in its eyes and freed it by firing at the electrical chain. The crab then devoured the villains and what was left of Cap's yacht. Joel knew there was no place for him among the survivors, so he planned to return to his colony. Before departing, he passionately kissed Amy, reigniting their spark. He left her with his monster survival guide and took Boy back to his colony, where he was welcomed with open arms. Joel led his territory to the surface and broadcasted a message through the radio to encourage other survivors to join the fight against the monsters. Clyde and Minnow, who both made it to the mountain, hear the message and wish Joel well, although they think he will probably get eaten by snow spiders.